Hello and welcome to another quick look. Me, GamerWolfSix, of another furry visual novel. This one, Hearthfire. A game about... Hearthfire is a linear romance furry visual novel where you play as Chris, lost, and snowbound otter. Took me a second. Follow this frost-filled adventure as he comes to terms with the leftover pieces of his life, while picking up feelings for his imposing savior. Before we start, if you're interested in playing this game, you can get it free on itch.io. But if you want to support the people that made this game, and maybe making other games, I'm not sure, then you can go to Patreon, where it's money. I mean, it says $5 to check out the story or something like that. Yeah, this game was last updated a year or two ago, but they do have a new furry visual novel in development. Also, before we start, if you want me to do a Let's Play series of this game, then tell me, and I'll give it a point which will higher on the user's choice list. And I need to turn the audio down. And if you want me to do a quick look of any other game, then tell me, and put in the quick look slot. I think that's everything. Sorry for my throat. Ooh. And begin. The car engine rumbled, a steady rhythm that filled the cabin of my car. It had been hours since I last gone out. Honestly, I was starting to lose the feeling in my legs. A quiet sigh blew from between my lips as I started at the churning, winding road ahead. Or stared. It would be a lot easier if she lived closer. Even though I muttered under my breath, I could barely hear it under the breeze coming from the car vents. I hate how cold it is out here, and I was almost regretting not taking a flight. Instead, I'm stuck braving the treacherous mountain roads and banks of unplowed snow. That just sounds terrible. Driving in snow and ice and up elevations? Ew. I'm not even sure my little blue sedan is rated for this kind of travel, or this kind of distance. I could hear the subtle rattle of the engine under the hood, belts creaking from the chill as they're forced to endure. I don't think they were designed to deal with this kind of cold, and I'd rather not think about what would happen if they broke. I guess it beats hyperventilating in an airplane. I'd really not repeat that experience again. My fingers drummed along the edge of the old steering wheel, some of the leather faded and even peeling in sections. It mirrored my mental state fairly accurately. To distract myself, I tapped at my phone. The glass rectangle sitting on the vent holder came to life, a blue, white glow radiating from the glass, complete with a background image that still needed to change. Damn, almost no signal. I feel a pang of anxiety deep inside my stomach. Not only could I get totally lost out here, nobody would find me either. Hell, the GPS wasn't even showing me on a proper road at this point. The old system was stuffed into the dashboard of my car, was just as clueless as me. A quick twist of the radio knob only gave me a deluge of static, soft hiss of antenna, to anything relaxing I might have been searching for. It kind of reminds me of like my old Honda Accord, where it's like, to get an update to that thing I'd have to pay like $100 to put in a CD to get it updated, and it's like, I'm not gonna do that. I'm gonna use my phone. Also, like, going in the middle of nowhere for like my, what is it, geology field sessions, being like in the middle of literally nowhere, where it's like, there's no radio signal out here. Then I click here, which does not do, oh, I guess didn't. I look in the rearview mirror, revealed a nervous young otter looking back at me. After 21 years, you'd think I might have a better decision-making skills. Oh, I was like, who? He has somebody else there? But it's him. My jaw gripped as I twisted the wheel, letting out a hard exhale through my nostrils. Apparently, I had managed to drift suddenly, tires running over the median and towards the Rocky Mountain wall. Why? That's a bad. You're not supposed to see yourself in the rearview mirror. I really gotta pay more attention to the road. The falling snow was starting to get heavier, and the skies turning a shade of gray above me. It was only now that I realized how stupid it was to be this far north, this far away from home. Also, sorry for the other tangent, reminds me of when I only had 1 hour of sleep the night before, because I was going night shift to day shift, and I was driving, and all of a sudden my brain was like, we are going to shut down in 5 minutes. And I was on the highway and was like, shit, I need to pull over now. A cup of coffee and a pizza from some backwoods backwater, gas station really helped. My stomach tied into a knot as I tried to push the thought away. I knew my parents were the worst set of nags, but that didn't mean my sister had to move to the opposite end of the continent. A slip of the back tires on some black ice caused the entire cabin to shudder around me, my fingers gripping even tighter around the steering wheel. Over the edge of the road, I could see a forested abyss. Forested? Yeah. Verdant evergreens dusted by layers of snow, almost like frosting. A soft chime from my phone distracted me, just enough to make my eyes flick back to the glowing screen. It was a text. I'm sorry. Please come back. My mouth instantly went dry as I saw the words. I didn't even need to know who sent them for my heart to sink into my stomach. Thoughts spiraled as my breath hitched, my eyes glued to the burning white screen. I stared at the notification for a long time, idiot. Far longer than I should have. The tires hit a patch of slick, ice-covered road, the car feeling like it was being suspended over water as I frantically tried to regain my control. The back end swung around, fishtailing as tires squealed, making an ungodly noise. Panic filled my mind as I slumped at the brakes to no avail, or pumped at the brakes. I can read. The edge of the road didn't even have guardrails, and the snow had piled along the seemingly unused roadway, didn't even slow me down. Hey, it's like silent snowfall. It happened so fast, I didn't have time to scream as my car went sliding over the edge. Everything was suspended in the air. The lights, beaming from the hood of the car, illuminated the pines down below. They were like phalanxes aimed directly at me, pointing to ends, spelling certain death. The crash of my tires against the mountainside sent everything flying in my car. The empty cups of coffee to my own phone. The screen flashed past my eyes, showing a photo of a smiling lion, his arm draped around a shorter, small-looking otter. The air was knocked out of me by the first impact, forcing the seatbelt to grab me so hard that I wondered if I managed to break a rib. Another impact caused the car to spin wildly, kicking up accumulated snow as the passenger's side door crushed inwards. I only managed to get a good look at the large tree I was careening right towards, the thing rushing up on me before slamming into the front of my car. The sound of the windshield shattering was deafening. There was only a brief glimpse in front of the front crumpling before my vision was filled with the steering wheel traveling straight towards my face. An explosion of stars behind my lids, vision flashing bright white as my entire mind reeled from the earth-shattering impact. The worst pain I'd ever felt in my life racked my body as my head agonizingly seared. It felt like someone tried to cleave my skull in half. Everything was a blur, my eyes refusing to work correctly as I managed to peel my forehead from what felt like the remains of a steering wheel. Not even an airbag to dampen the blow. Man, bad car. My hand fumbled for the handle. Soft, dinging echoed around me as the door popped open. Yellow running lights, barely illuminating the dark. The sound was a single thread of order in the sea of chaos. My legs were moving on their own, as if a primal part of my brain had seized control of my battered body. I could feel the world around me tilting. Somehow, falling through the open door, the seatbelt audibly reeling back into place. The cold shocked my system. It caused me to gasp as I fell into a pile of accumulated snow. Oh God. Oh God. Am I gonna die? I could barely see. I could barely think. My feet moved on their own, pushing me up from the frigid ground and through the pine trees ahead. It was like I was an injured animal, my body working on instinct to get me away from the catastrophic danger I had been through. Snow crunched, the only sound around me, besides my ragged breathing. I could feel the tears flowing from my eyes, only to freeze in my cheek fur. Soft puffs of breath blew in front of me, obscuring my vision further, as I limped nowhere in particular, or limped. I went to cry out, to call for help, for anything, anyone. However, the only thing that came out of me was a soft and pathetic squeak. Like an otter. Wobbling, my legs finally gave out, my body tumbling onto the snow, crashing through the powdered substance. Despite laying still, I could feel the world swirling around me. The blow to my head, having scrambled just about every sense I had. Was I dying? I couldn't feel. Everything was going numb, the edges of my vision starting to fade as I laid helplessly in the snow. The branches of the pine swayed above, a light snowfall coming down, flakes catching the light in an almost hypnotic fashion. I couldn't move. My entire body was in shock, or just numb. The only feeling was a warm trickle that felt like it was coming from my forehead. I couldn't even bring my hand up to check to see if I was bleeding. Maybe I deserved this. My life cut short before it even really began. Even as I laid there, the feeling of panic was bleeding away, along with everything else. It was like someone pulled a drain plug. The thoughts and apprehensions I had from dying alone in the snow drained away. Maybe it was better this way. At least I don't have to suffer. I could hear voices on the edge of my consciousness, muttering. Most of it was a muddy mess, but I could pick out a few words. You're lucky. Found him in time. He is alright? Alright? Did something happen to me? He'll be fine. Stitches are set, but I still want my office. Very well. Who was speaking? And the voices were familiar to me. Despite feeling like I should be panicking, the only thing I could feel was the urge to sleep. I could hear movement around me, footsteps. Whoever was nearby was gone. The sound of a door clicking shut leave me in comforting silence. At least I was warm again. Warm and comfortable. It's kind of funny how they say about hypothermia. It's like when you hit like hypothermia or extreme hypothermia, you feel the need to take off your clothes because you feel hot for some reason. Unconsciousness beckoned me once more, pulled me underneath the waves as I let my worry bleed from me, along with the rest of my thoughts. My entire body twitched. Bright light poured at my eyes, demanding that I open them up. Ugh. My head pulsed in time with my heartbeat, making an uncomfortable throbbing as I slowly sat up. What the fuck happened? Her voice was horrible, my ears pinning back from the gurgle that churned out of my throat. Blinking a few times, the room around me slowly came into focus. The light that sold my eyes was coming from a nearby window, snow coating the edges of the glass. Fleeting memories were starting to come back to me as I reached up to touch my head. I hissed, pulling my fingers away, searing pain radiating from where I touched my forehead. It was bandaged, tightly wrapped, my hair pulled back. Fuck. Reality was setting in. Where I was, what happened to me. I was in a car crash, and yet, somehow, I survived. I could remember voices, ones that chatted while I was teetering on the brink of consciousness. Did someone find me out in the snow? This certainly wasn't a frozen wasteland. Instead, it looked like it was someone's bedroom. I pulled the covers up on my knees, looking around, feeling a little apprehensive of my surroundings, especially when I realized I was naked under the sheets, also tied to the bed. I need to watch that one movie. You know, the one where like a famous rider drives off the road and I think breaks it? No, he gets his legs broken or something like, I don't know. But she wants him to write and is caring for him, but she breaks his leg so he can't flee or something like that. I don't know. What is that movie called? My thick tail tucked between my legs, heat crawling up my neck and into my cheeks as I realized someone had stripped me down. A quick look across the room, I spotted wayward garments. They were folded up, sitting neatly on the chair in the corner. Practically bolting out of bed, I grabbed at them, fumbling thanks to the subtle throbbing of my head injury. Jeans went on quick, shimmying into them as I bounced on one foot, pushing the other leg in. Shirt next, followed by sneakers onto my feet. Hiking my jacket on my shoulders, I made a move for the door. I was thankful for whoever saved me, but I didn't have time to stick around. Adrenaline was running high. My thoughts were about finding my car and my things. I need my things. Also, I miss that character. And finding a way out of here. I'm sorry, I just kind of want to do a little bit of a tangent and note to self, save a bunch of time. Oh, where is that? Finished? Yeah. Oh, what would it be? Sorry that there's going to be another music thing coming on. This thing looks very familiar. It is. I'm sorry, I was like, this place looks a bit familiar. I wonder if we could maybe get a picture without it. Oh, yeah, there we go. You see this background right here? Now, let's switch on over to a different game. Where is it? That one? Nope. That's why I turned it off. There we go. The Smoke Room Christmas Special. I miss the Smoke Room. Anyways, enough about that. Or just so you can have a good look at it coming back the other way. Do that, do that, do that. Switch it back. I'm sorry, I was just like, this looks so familiar. There's a reason why that is. Let's reset face. Looks like I was in a wooden cabin. Fairly small by the looks of it. Nearby, a pot bubbled, cast iron, and hanging above a crackling fire. I wonder if it's like there's royalty-free backgrounds or something like that. The smell coming from it was divine. A single silver ladle sticking out of the edge of the bubbling stew. I shook my head, clearing my thoughts. As hungry as I was, now wasn't the time to think about food. No, now was the time. I had to get out of here. The thought of an axe-wielding hillbilly cannibals crossed my mind, making my stomach do an elaborate somersault in response. I froze, fur going on end over the back of my neck and tail as I heard thumping. A shadow cast over the nearby window, moving towards the front door. My eyes whipped to left to right, frantically looking for a place to hide. There was nothing. The door handle clinked, options running short. This guy's an entire brick house. Or a neighborhood. A very large polar bear stepped through the door, a cold wind blowing in from behind him, a small smattering of snow rolling past his boots. Every fear in the back of my brain was instantly vanished as I found myself being a woo, as I found myself stumbling back. Reaching out to the closest object I could brandish, I raised my voice. Stay back! I'm warning you! The bear stopped his advance, a stoic, stone-like expression on his face, vivid amber eyes rolling down, staring at the gleaming, deadly object I was pointing in his direction. A ladle. A harmless head gleamed in the light of the crackling fire. A harmless head? Intimidating nobody but his own self-esteem. Regardless, it was wrenched out of my grip by the bear's massive hand, disarmed like an unruly child. He regarded it with amusement and a smirk pulling across his muzzle. The bear moved over to the fire, dropping the ladle into the orange stew before giving it a few stirs. I watched the entire domestic scene unfold, as if I wasn't even part of the equation. The big bear ignoring me in favor of his food. Still, he was ignoring me, lifting the end up to his lips, taking a testing sip of the broth. Hello? His ear swiveled in my direction, signaling they had heard me. He just didn't deign to respond. Okay, I'm leaving now? Not wise. I blinked, the two blunt words rumbling up from the bear's throat as he spoke. He didn't break from what he was doing, dropping the ladle back in before giving another slow stir. Yeah, but I are injured. I found you in the snow. Wow. Talk about obtuse. What's this guy's deal? Yeah, but you should eat. I don't really have time for that. I've gotta go find my... Wow. The look he flashed me was nothing short of smug, or at least as much as I could get, with how expressionless he seemed. Maybe I can stay for a while. I could feel my cheeks flush, tail wrapping around my leg. Who knows how long it's been since I've eaten? Gas station snacks weren't holding over anymore. Good. The entire situation was surreal. Stuck in a cabin in the middle of the woods. And now this polar bear was gonna feed me soup? Stew? Had he gotten up? He had gotten up, ambling back to the kitchen before returning with two bowls, one in each hand. The one he offered me was pushed none too gently into my chest, causing me to scramble to take it from him. He was already filling up his bowl, pulling a fair amount of the liquid straight in without care, golden orange liquid threatening to splash out the rim. Vegetables and a bit of fish bobbed on the surface, only making my hunger pang harder. Thanks? He grunted an affirmation, moving to the nearby sofa before dropping himself down. It squeaked, forced to bear the bear's overwhelming weight, as it suddenly sagged. I had to say bears. Even though he was intimidating with his size and that scar, I guess he wasn't so bad. He never held a grudge against anyone, or I never held a grudge against anyone offering me a free meal. Turns out that using a ladle as a utensil instead of a weapon was much more effective. The orange liquid, sorry for the honking sound. The orange liquid poured into my bowl, the stuff sloshing near the brim. I guess that's my car in the forest. I had to do a little shuffle to make sure I didn't spill it all over the wooden floor, or myself. Awkwardly, I made my way over, sitting next to the bear, my gaze flicking to him every so often. I was distracted by the first spoonful of stew, my eyes going wide. Holy shit, this is good. I mumbled, my mouth still half full. He let out another grunt. From what I could tell, a hint of a smile pulled on his muzzle as he guzzled down his own serving down. By the time I finished my first bowl, he must have been on his third? Wow, this guy could really pack it down. No wonder he's got a bit of a medal going on. Probably helps with cold weather though. A clink of his bowl caught my attention, the bear placing it on the nearby coffee table. We are going. We? To the village. My expression screwed up as I tried to decipher the blunt bear's intentions. Village? Why? You need medical attention. I guess what he was saying was true. I had a gash in my head, and shockingly, nothing else seemed out of place. Now that I thought about it, I was waltzing out of the bedroom with little more of it than a headache. Was surprising. Or just it. I at least expected a twisted ankle. Wiggling my feet proved the exception wrong, however. Guess I was lucky for once. Come. Blinking, I looked up. The bear was already at the door, staring at me expectantly, holding it open with a large paw. Keeping an eye on that thing. How the heck did he move so fast? Getting up, I awkwardly followed him outside, the door being pulled shut behind me. God, I hate how long those things can, go. Turned my head over my shoulder. I got a good look at the cabin. Surprisingly, it wasn't that big. Cozy, maybe? It might have been nice if I wasn't effectively stranded here for the time being. I was like, what, are there two cars now? Even that, or maybe it was the game. Nope, it was outside. I heard like two cars honking. It's like, seriously? The rumble of the engine caught my attention, breaking me out of my distracted daydream. Pulling up was the nearby bear on a rather nice-looking snowmobile. It was nearly spotless, mint condition, really. I was almost a little envious, considering the rusted undercarriage of my old sedan. He scooted forward, patting the back of the seat sharply, gesturing for me to get on. Get on. He raised his voice to speak over the rumble of the engine. I wasn't entirely sure if I wanted to just get into some stranger's vehicle. Butterflies fluttered in my stomach, making the hot stew I had gulped down churn uncomfortably. The bear sensed my hesitation. His brows furrowed as he glared at me. You don't want to walk. It's over an hour there. That's all the convincing I needed. Taking a few steps, I vaulted over the back, nearly swinging clean off the other side. If it wasn't for a sudden arm stopping me, I might have gotten a face full of snow. Hang on, it will be rough. It wasn't long until the cabin vanished out of sight from over my shoulder. The rushing wind whipped around us, making me hunker my head down. He seemed to know what he was doing, the two of us shooting through the forest. It was faster than I was used to, hugging tight, just to keep my balance. At least he was large. He acted as a natural shield between me and the freezing winds blowing by. Lingering on that thought, I could feel my face heating up a little. Being caught up in everything, I hadn't really taken the stranger into account, especially how intimately close we are now. Embarrassing as it was, I had to stop myself from leaning into him. Thankfully, the change of scenery distracted me. Following the nearby creek, or bending creek, the pines that loomed above us finally parted. The scene was like anything I've ever seen before. Outstretched snow, capped mountains, seemed to stretch on all around us into the horizon. Nestled along the foot of one of them looked like a small town, golden lights shimmering through windows. Electricity? Sure enough, there were old-looking poles dotted around the village, hanging electrical cables stretched between them. Where there's electricity, there's phones. I guess you'd have to charge them. Just the thought of being able to call out of this middle-of-nowhere town was enough to help calm my anxiety. If I'm lucky, maybe I'll get to sleep in my own bed again soon. Rumbling to a stop, the polar bear cut the engine, the thing whirling softly until we were left in silence. Oh, why'd we stop? There's still a distance between us and the town ahead, a respectful and apprehensive distance away. Give me a sec. Oh, it was quite quiet. Sorry, I'm still sick. You must go alone. I blinked, staring at the bear. His amber eyes refused to meet mine. Wait, why? Again, he remained silent. The snow slightly drifted around him, whirling around his head and shoulders, his stone-like expression subtly shifting. I don't know where I'm going. The bear returned the gaze, reluctantly looking at me. It's a building with several square windows. He gestured, pointing to a particular building on the edge of town. Sure enough, the blocky architecture caught my eyes. I think I see it. Even though I had only met this bear, it felt strange being separated from him. He was the only constant in this new and unfamiliar landscape. Can't you come with me? I paused, thinking over my next words. I just will be honest with him, I guess. I don't feel comfortable going on my own. I waved my hand awkwardly as I sat on the back of a snowmobile. I don't know where I'm at. My voice shrank as I spoke again, scared. It wasn't far from the truth. The bear was the only vaguely familiar thing here, and even that was tremendous description. I was lost in a wintry hellscape, and the only person showing me kindness was about to leave me behind. He'll be fine. Tell him Tonraq sent you. You should remember. I bit my lower lip, my legs feeling glued to the seats. They didn't want to move, like someone having replaced them with lead weights. It was then that I realized I hadn't asked the bear's name. Tonraq. It really sealed in this point that I was far from home. What a stupid decision to drive all the way out here. I should have taken a flight, regardless of anxiety. Or, in hindsight, just found a therapist. I will wait for you. His hand was on my shoulder, squeezing it gently, the large paw engulfing it. Hurry me out. At least it's better than reading coughs. It was warm, toasty, a harsh contrast to the chill of the air around us. Chris. He blinked, his round ears swiveling as he regarded me. My name is Chris. Smith. The bear stared at me, prompting that awkward feeling to well up inside me again. It's kind of boring, my name, but I guess it's easy to remember. My only saving grace was that it's freezing. Otherwise, I would have broken out in a sweat from embarrassment. Ayek. Excuse me? My name, Tonraq Ayek. Shifting awkwardly, my tail thunked along the back of the snowmobile. The feeling in my legs finally came back to me. It's nice to meet you. I mean, thanks for saving me, and, feeding me. I followed up with a pop of a laugh, awkwardly rubbing the back of my head. You were stalling. Like a deck to the heart. I let out a sharp exhale, hanging my head dejectedly. He was right. I was stalling. It took a few wiggles, but my shorter legs managed to slip off the seat, the snow crunching underneath my shoes. Keenly, I was reminded that my footwear wasn't exactly rated for the climate. It brought up my concerns on if I wasn't able to make it there without picking up a mild case of frostbite. I'll be here. Go. Blunt, but I couldn't deny that it was comforting. There was a subtle warmth in his words, guarded, but still there regardless. So many questions about who he was, and why he is helping me. Was it really just the obligation to take care of a guy he found nearly dead? Still, I apparently have a doctor's appointment I need to attend. I just hope they take my insurance. I was about to be like, oh, is this one of those things where it's like it's a European country and they're like, yeah, you can go to the doctor whenever you want. And on America where it's like, yeah, even if you have insurance, if you're covered, it could be thousands of dollars. Suppressing a small chuckle, I gave the bear a small wave as it trudged towards the town. Looking back over my shoulder, I saw a Tonraq sitting on a snowmobile. He was leaning over the handlebars, watching me. Almost to reassure me, he gave me a wave of one of his large paws. Give me a sec. The town stretched out in front of me. My feet thankful that I had already managed to find a road to walk on. And, to be fair, I was pretty tired of plunging each foot through several inches of snow as well. About 5 minutes later, I had already made it into town proper. Not many people out of their homes. Not that I could blame them. It was freezing outside. At least from my perspective. The whole town had a rustic look going on for it. Old buildings and slant roofs, and plenty of snow on everything. It seemed the doctor's office was on the outskirts of the rest of the town. Strange, but at least my feet were thankful for the fact. Zipping along the walkway and past the windows, I pushed my way through the doors. Bells chimed as I stepped in, being hit with a refreshing wave of warmth. Not exactly what I expected. It looked like the regular doctor's office, for the most part, anyway. Nobody at the front desk, though. Hello? Just a minute. The voice was faint, coming from somewhere in the back. Yeah, that was the other voice I heard when I was out of it. At least my feet weren't cold anymore, enjoying the feeling coming back to my toes as I shuffled over to one of the lobby chairs, driving myself into it. And the few magazines on the nearby table, I decided to snag one of them, flipping through the pages. What the? They're all horribly out of date, on a magnitude of several years even. Fashion magazines made up majority of the pile of it seemed. I'm not entirely sure fashion trends would reach all the way out here to begin with. Wherever here is. I could feel the loss of my phone keenly. I couldn't remember the last time I was without one. The subconscious urge to stick my hand into my pocket still tugging at my mind. Nobody with me, and no screen to distract me either. This really was, a frozen hell. My headache I was nursing, grew a little stronger. My fingers were going up to my bandages herbs, as I gingerly stroked along the fabric. Early hope. It's just superficial. I need to find out that somehow I have brain damage. Could I even be able to tell if I have brain damage? Everything felt fine upstairs so far, minus the fact that my head had been split open by a steering wheel. Ugh, my poor car. I know she was a little better than a junker, with a decade of age on her, but that little sedan didn't deserve this fate. The magazine in my grip crinkled as he rolled it up, squeezing it tightly, channeling the willing of anxiety that was cutting my breath short. How could I even get back home? Even traveling by car all the way back was an ordeal. There's no way I would be able to do it on foot. Hitchhike? I could feel my face screw up automatically, my whiskers bunching. Yeah, right. Who would pick up some random otter on the side of a road, let alone take them across country back home? I might survive the crash. My hopes of leaving this place seem dismally slim. The sound of a door opening caught my attention, pulled me out of my darkening thoughts. Daddy, as well. A tall snow leopard around the corner, a bushy tail flicking around behind a stereotypically white lab coat. He was smartly dressed, too. Not what I was expecting from a remote mountain village. He blinked, slight, bright red eyes staring straight at me. The sight was interesting. He smirked, looking down at me, the feline having at least a good foot height above me, maybe just as tall as Tonraq. Tonraq? Having a good look? I didn't mean to stare, but... He laughed, an amused sound, as he tucked his clipboard he was carrying under his arm. God, now I'm saying clipboard. Probably the first time you've seen an albino animal. Sorta, I think. There might have been at least one on campus. Is it... Sorry. Polar bears are albino, right? I don't know. Like, albino is like... normally white, right? Or is it just white? He gave me a look, brow arching. Campus, hmm? Sounds like you're far away from home, if you don't mind me saying. Yeah, that's putting it lightly. By the way, my name's Philip. Dr. Philip Williams. He stuck out his hand, his coat sleeve falling back to reveal a strong, but thin-looking limb. I gave him a shake with my own paw, noticing the strength behind the doctor's grip. Chris, Smith. How about we get you checked out first before we continue, Chris? Despite several questions rolling around my head, the doctor did have a point. Better to get this over with first. Sure. He ended up awkwardly and managed to follow the doctor around the corner and past the back door. The hall was blindingly white, the smell of cleaning solution making the air reek as we slipped into one of the back examination rooms. It seemed like a rather small clinic. Then again, I couldn't imagine a place like this would need a full hospital. Full on. Actually, I was kind of surprised there even was this place. I didn't know what I was expecting, but not this layout full of modern-looking flair. Before we begin, I'd like to get some x-rays. He could see my worried expression. The feline's face turned to a sympathetic smile. Don't worry, it's mostly a formality. I just want to make sure you didn't break anything during your tumble. I would be like, let's talk about medical insurance and stuff first, buddy. For reference, I went to a thing to get a rash looked at, and I was like, oh, urgent care, emergency room, they're the same thing, right? I'm covered under your guys' healthcare? Cool, okay. Yeah, you guys take my healthcare and it's covered? Cool. And then I was staring down the barrel of, like, what, a $13,000 bill. I was like, what? Luckily, insurance got most of it. Again, putting it lightly. I don't have to wear one of those hospital smucks, right? The ones that show off your backsides? I suddenly felt very self-conscious about my body, and the possibility of being asked to strip in front of someone else. The cat smiled in amusement. No, I'm not going to subject to that. A quiet chuckle rumbled from his throat. You're quite fine as you are. Good. Still, this guy's personality was pretty hard to contrast to Tonraq's. He seems chatty. I had to wonder if it was his bedside manner, or because he was just a conversationalist. I've only been to a hospital once in my life, when I was born, but the feeling of itchy fabric was something I didn't forget. And I don't have to go through that again. Blinking, I stared at the freshly produced clipboard in front of me, a white pen attached to the end of it. I'll give you a few minutes to fill out your paperwork. Just knock on the door when you're ready. The leopard slipped through the door, the sound of a clicking shut behind him following. My eyes wandered around the examination room, taking in my surroundings. It looked fairly ordinary, all of things considered. There was even a small sculpture depicting of a skull and the anatomy of a spine. A pleasant shiver went up through me, or an unpleasant shiver went up through me. I really don't like to think about the stuff inside me. Still, I guess I couldn't complain. He hadn't even asked about payment, and, well, I guess he did help patch me up already. How would that not? Because I feel like when... I'm not sure if this game is not set in America or is, but it's like, they're like, oh, don't worry about payment. We just need to get your contact information. And then later it's like, here's a 5-figure bill for your rash. My fingers went to the bandaging over my head, tracing gingerly along the edges. I don't want to think about what's underneath. A grisly sight, probably. I already have enough problems of my self-image. A scar going through my hairline isn't the change of appearance I'm looking for. Turning my attention back to the paperwork, I noticed there was a lot of standard questions. My age, blood type, that sort of thing. I've never had any of those things ask blood type. What even was my blood type? Couldn't remember off the top of my head. The information stored on my driver's license. Wait, I don't think they do that on driver's license, do they? I don't have my wallet here, which is still somewhere in the mangled mess that's now my car. I groaned internally as I scribbled across the paper haphazardly, not really bothering to put much effort into the information I was filling out. Finishing up the last of the form, I got up, rapping on the back of the door a few times before returning back to the edge of the examination bed. The door popped open, the doctor smoothly entering back in, the lab coat of his flowing along behind him. He took my clipboard without question, looking it over quickly before giving a short, curt nod. All right, Chris, I want you to lay back for me. I did as he asked, shifting around until I was laying snugly back against the padded examination bed. Above me, a rather large device on a pair of hinged arms. It looked like a machine of some sort, a pair of handles sticking out of it. Now, try to stay as still as possible. The machine hummed to life as the doctor flipped a few switches. Out of the corner of my eye, I spotted a laptop coming to life, the device sitting on the edge of a nearby countertop. Wait, a computer? That boded well, at least. Maybe, if he has a working computer, there's a phone line I could use to call home. Please stop fidgeting. His tone was polite, but I could sense a gentle warning when I heard one. Lying completely flat on my back, I try not to breathe. Good thing otters can hold their breath for just about forever. The machine above me hummed, the articulated arms moving smooth as butter, the boxy machine sweeping from my toes to the top of my head. He seemed to take extra time in particular around my skull, giving me a good view of the strange machine. I've never had an x-ray taken like this before, just a few times at the dentist's office, but it was a completely different beast. I was surprised. I suppressed a small shiver that went through me. Even though the place was heated, the air was still a little chilly for my liking. All done. Good job, Chris. The praise was genuine. Didn't really have much for me in my current state, or yeah, whatever. Honestly, I didn't even know what my current state was. Shock, maybe? I'm not sure the reality of the situation has really set in yet. Let's go ahead and get these checked out. The doctor's voice pulled me from my thoughts, my head tilting, watching as he moved to his laptop. The cat, briskly bushy tail flicked behind him, the feline tapping a few times at the device's trackpad. He hummed softly, images appearing on the laptop screen, the feline clicking through them. So far so good? He didn't seem particularly concerned about what he was seeing. Slowly, I pulled myself up, sitting over the edge of the seating, my feet dangling. Everything seems fine. Tonraq told me that you're in a car accident. Is that correct? Yeah. He turned to look at me, his crimson eyes peeking at me. How are you feeling? I'm surprised they wouldn't do an x-ray first, you know? Well, not first, but like while the main character's here. Unless the main character, the snow leopard, went to the cabin. The question was instant enough, yet it felt like it had several layers to it. It was a question that I had been asking myself. Something I wasn't sure of an answer to. A little freaked out? I mean, I don't really think it's set in yet. That's not entirely surprising. I blinked a few times. You've been through a traumatic event. You're lucky to even be alive right now. His gaze softened as he regarded me. Doubly so, considering Conrad found you in the snow. Any longer, and he'd suffer frostbite, or possibly would have died of hypothermia. Thinking of the polar bear, that brought to mind the question that had been nibbling at the edge of my consciousness. He couldn't come with me to the clinic. I mean, he looked at me, brow lifting. Really now? He didn't have you walk all the way here, did he? There's a small amount of concern in his voice. The tall cat eyeing me up and down. No, he took me here. He's waiting on the outskirts for me to come back. Ah, I see. Does he usually do that? He looked reluctantly to share the information with me. The feline, swaying where he stood, tended to be more focused on his laptop than his patient. I'm sure you may have gathered by now, but he paused, as if trying to figure out his next words. A rather private man. Yeah, I picked that up so far. It meant a few words were like. The snow leopard laughed, a short burst of sound, his tail giving a quick flick. You certainly aren't wrong. Whenever he comes for his exams or treatment, getting information out of him is fairly difficult. He shrugs his shoulders, flashing a toothy smile. But I shouldn't be insulting my patients. He seemed satisfied with his work on his laptop, the feline closing it with a soft click. I watched as he moved over to the cabinets, seemingly to pull a few pieces of testing equipment, standard stuff, a stethoscope, a pen light. I'm going to do a few standard tests to gauge your overall health, if you don't mind, Mr. Smith. Well, personally I do mind because I got some other things I gotta do today, and, you know, and I'm not sure how long that scene's gonna be. And got only, about 5 minutes. So that's gonna be the end of this thing. I guess to see some stuff. Give me a sec. The other characters I see so far on their thing is like some wolf, dingo, canine guy that works at a coffee shop, and some kind of female snow leopard thingy. Not snow leopard, but she has spots. But yeah, that's gonna be the end of this quick look. So comment because I like comments, if you like, dislike, tips, tricks, otherwise. If you like my YouTube and Lexi Crew, then please like, subscribe, and check out every step of Crew. And please remember to your ammo, help control the pet population. And again, if you want to play that game, it's available free on itch.io, and it's finished. And they're also doing other games, like, I guess if I could click their thing. Oh, we could find out more on the Patreon page. Yeah, maybe a thing. New furry visual novel project, which I can't see. Hearthfire, Tales, Flatline, maybe? But let's see, we got 4 more to go until I fill it up with a bunch of things. So random number generator, tell me what we're gonna do. I gotta get mail and stuff. Number 4. Oh yeah, I was kind of wanting to do that. Also sound warning, just in case. That one? It could be that one. I don't know. English. Wait, it's hello? Hold on a second, game. Yeah, I'm looking for it. Where is it? Oh, maybe I have to close that and open it again. No, it doesn't like that. Okay, we'll try some other way. There we go. So it isn't so loud for you guys. What is that one? Game cat? Oh, right, that. Oh, okay. Whatever. Good thing it was the right one. So, that being Wolf and in the World World, which somebody suggested. And that's why I ask you guys to suggest things for me, so that so that, you know, I'll do it. So, synopsis is the sole light of the life of Ilmari person is north of Moon, a particular world inhabited by a race of anthropomorphic wolves which can enter through his wardrobe. Over here, he struggles under the care of the conservative Listelian father, whatever. Out there, he ventures on fantastic quests with Sampo, his best friend and wolf boy of same age. Since North of Moon seems to shape itself after Ilmari's wishes, the people are as friendly as the weather is fine, and every adventure has a happy ending. He knows nothing can hurt him there, but as he grows older, Imari will discover the realm inside the wardrobe to be just as eager to reflect parts of himself that he'd rather keep hidden. That seems interesting. Also, I guess the main character is the main character a wolf, or is he human and there's just wolf boys? Don't know. That guy looks familiar, or something like that. Yeah, I think this game is finished. Last update was like, I was gonna say a year ago, but yeah, I mean, kinda. But it's like 1.0. So if you want to play this game, it's available free on itch.io. But if you want to support the people that make this game, or made to this game... Is that Patreon? Also, this is Maywolf, so I'm not exactly sure how long this is. Because there's like game jams, and game jams don't tend to be long, you know? Yeah, I mean, this game was made in the course of the years, and maybe if we don't complete it in like an hour, we'll just, you know. Oh yeah, you can run the entire thing in like their web browser. Anyways, until next time, another quick look. Me, GamerWolfSix, some other game. So thanks and see ya. Or this one.